Hey, Eagle Song. We're back at the croft now. We went out this morning and harvested dandelions down at a friend's organic farm. And now we're back doing the processing. So when you get your dandelion harvest taken care of, the first thing you want to do is the flowers. And I like to pick the petals off of the flowers when I'm going to make, I can make dandelion oil. We'll be doing dandelion preparations another time in the next video. But right now we're just talking about the processing after the harvest. So dandelion is a composite flower, and now I guess they're in the family of the Asteraceae. So really every one of these petals represents an individual flower. And so the Asteraceae family are all the daisies, the daisy families, and the dandelions are in that. So it's a composite of hundreds of little flowers that make up this one whole flower. Now there's something we could think about. How can we be individual people and yet contribute to an amazing composite in our communities? So picking off the dandelion flowers is a time-consuming effort, and one that I think the first thing I ever made with dandelion flowers was dandelion wine. And so thinking about doing this the first time takes a lot of faith, because it takes a long time to pick off 4 quarts of flowers to make 1 gallon of wine. It's really fun if you're doing it with other people. So you always want to keep 1 bottle of wine. Well, I'm not going to tell you about the wine until you come back for the winemaking part. But right now, it's just this place of really being attentive. I'm going to just put my glasses on so I can really see these flowers. Really appreciate it. So a lot of handwork in herbalism. And this handwork is just a place where you can do your quiet self. Unless you're in a group of people, then of course you want to have conversation. All right, so that's it. It's pretty simple. Pull the petals. Many people don't pull the petals off for their winemaking. It's truly a personal decision for you. You can do it or not do it. We're going to take all the calyxes, the part that the petals all lived in, and we're going to add them to our chicken food. So that's the way we would work with processing the flowers here at Ravencroft. Then we have one little bit left of the roots. I was actually processing this earlier, and here we have, this is the part that makes dandelion processing a little tedious and dirty, but you pull off all this. This is the roots that I dug and still had the flower top on. We dug the roots with the whole plant. And so these are being left connected to the nabari. And look at this. You can see all these buds down in here. These buds are really, really delicious. So these get cleaned up, but I really wanted to show you this big, big root. Now this is a root, and you can see it's not really broken anywhere. This root represents what happens when a whole dandelion head hits the ground. That whole head hits the ground, and we have all these individual, just like we had individual flowers in the composite flower head. Now the seeds, all those puffy dandelion seeds, land, and they settle into the earth, and they become, we'll see it more once I take the root off, they become this great conglomeration of giant dandelion hooked to earth. So then these can all be taken apart, and you can really get the sense that each of those seeds from the flowers was an individual and whole organism on its own. So we actually do a really special thing. A lot of the mud gets pushed up. So these are fairly dirty, but I like to do this, and again you see these beautiful buds here. And so I break these apart and off the big root, And then we've got this pile here. This is all going out to the chickens in the chicken yard. We'll go meet the chickens when we deliver this to them. So now the exercise is to basically take off the messy root parts here, and all the leaves that are spent. It's great having chickens and goats and geese. They all love, love, love the dandelion. So all this excess that we're not going to eat becomes food for other animals. We're animals too, other creatures that live at the croft. So here is our exercise in taking apart one big dandelion clump. Hey, see the worms crawl right up in there. We'll put that down in there. Those chickens are going to be happy to see that little piece of protein. And we'll clean this one up and get these all separated out. And then I'm going to show you we do a really special thing with this part of the plant. There's a lot of different ways to process dandelion, as many ways as there are people who actually put time and energy into harvesting dandelion. And so, again, we get all that excess muck off here. Yeah, right? This takes day long. It's so nice having the pressure off. And you get sticky and mucky. So have a nice wet cloth close at hand so you can actually take care of getting your hands so you can keep working. Okay, so now we're going to take these and we'll come over here to this water basin. And you can see these individual whole dandelion rosettes. All right, we'll sit these in here. And these just get rinsed off. And then the next thing that happens with these, because they have a really special place in our diet here at the croft. We're trying to see how many different ways we can use all the herbs that are food. And so here we have a way that those dandelion whole plants are strung out on string. These are yesterday's harvest. And they've been hanging up in the library here. And so you can see another way that you can actually dry the dandelion. This works pretty good. Dries them out pretty fast. So that's a specialty. You call that a specialty preparation. Then there was all the leaf that we cut off with scissors. What do we do with all this leaf? So we go through here, we're going to sort. We're going to take out all the parts that we know we don't want to dry. And this is pretty clean because we were careful to cut it off before we dug the root on this batch. And we just sort everything. Now these are dried. Just pick out, this is just handwork, more handwork. And it also teaches you, and if you've got your kids helping you, this is really great work to have the kids get involved with. It helps them to really learn to differentiate, because here we've got grass. Grass is mixed in with these leaves, and they learn to separate, and ourselves also learn to separate out all of the bits that are not what we are looking for, not that beautiful Dandelion, the teeth of the lion. Dandelion leaf is what we want. Anything that isn't that needs to be sorted out. So this is the process. Here, look at this. We have a little clover that jumped in. This is the part I love. I just love getting involved here with the plants at a very earthy level. And when we do this with groups of people, everyone just finally gets done with all their chatter, and we just sit quietly and move through the leaf, thread the little rosettes onto string. Lots of ways to be with the plants, but what I have found is that this is woman's work in the sense that people like to sit around together and chatter while doing this work. It's a way that the community stays connected. We get to keep up with who's getting born, who's dying, who got married, who's got children. This way of conveying all the goings on in our lives. And so this is the simple processing that's used with the leaf. Okay? So that then goes into baskets. This is really a very small basket. We've got great large baskets here that this can be put into. So then we have dried dandelion leaf, and the dried dandelion leaf goes into soups, stews. You can make great healing infusions with it. But it's another way that you can bring the dandelion into your diet on a regular basis. Why would you want to? Well, there's way more minerals and protein in these wild foods. And we'll go over that. We'll have a handout for you with the different minerals and the amount of them. We're going to stick that over into our other basket. And so this is just the simple processing of wild food. And really, we spent probably a whole 6 minutes this morning harvesting these dandelions. And look how much we have to work with here once we get back to the croft. And we haven't even begun the preparation into the, what we're going to make for later eating and enjoying and nutrition. So that's the leaf harvest. And then there's finally the root. And this is root that we dug yesterday, and it has been washed and dried and rolled like this by hand. It's a process. You don't have to do this, but I kind of like it. So these roots we've left whole. Just as much to share with you what they look like. So now we're going to go over and look at processing. This is why you really love to have an outdoor kitchen, because you can just do all this outside and maintain your sanity. All right, so we're going to walk over to the washing station. Here. And these are the roots that we've got from all that dandelion that we had there. So we're going to set those roots out on this card. I had them soaking because I want the clay soil to soften up. And it's just a wonderful thing to be able to use that to water anything you need to over here. Oh, we got some room. All right, so then we're just going to take the hose and situate ourselves so that we can do this. Yes, right. These roots are pretty big, so we're going to take them over to the table, and we're actually going to slice these to dry them. Okay. getting all these little hair roots off, opening it up between the big roots. This is really great for home processing. Pretty easy. Great medicine. Different ways we can use the roots. Here we have a little mud left, so we'll get that off of there. And here we have again this twisted growth, that spiraling growth that you see in trees and plants everywhere. All right, so let's go take some time to chop these up. So as you can see, you can do this with really simple equipment. Most of these items you already have in your kitchen, nothing necessary to go out and buy. Use a very simple knife. And if you slice this long on the diagonal, you can actually get the root to dry fairly fast. It depends on what your purpose is for using the root. Now, if I was going to be making tincture, I would actually dice the root. But I want this root dried, and it's going to be added to soups and stews. You could cut it crossways. Right, simple hand method, hand processing. Our motto is really keeping herbs in our hearts, hands, and homes, so we want to be able to make different preparations that we can use in our home. I want to show you all how to do it, because we found over the years that all these things that we have added to our diet and our life have really come in handy in times when we really needed an ally that wasn't going to leave us when things got tough. And let me tell you, the dandelions do not leave you when things get tough. They are always out there. No matter how much people have tried to rid themselves of dandelion, the plant is not to be left out of our human experience. And so this plant is another one that grows all the way around the globe. At this latitude, we're at about 2 degrees latitude. And so here we go. Now you can see how you chop it up to make a tincture, if you were going to make tincture or herb vinegar of the root. All right, we'll talk more about that in our herbal preparations, dandelion herbal preparations video. So thanks for coming by today. Really enjoyed having you at the Croft, and hope to see you again. Remember, come see us at eaglesong-gardener.com, and you'll find recipes, remedies, and a lot of fun over here at the Croft. See you then.